Camping is really a part of the child care industry, and we know what kind of regulations that daycare centers have to have in order to take care of children. And so we've kind of seen camping go from doing it out of your hip pocket to being a real part of child care industry, where you have to make sure that the campers' safety and their well-being is paramount in the things that you do.
Hello, this is Pastor Terry Goodman, and I want to welcome you to the Wesleyan Connection. This podcast is primarily for the clergy and laity of the Holston Annual Conference. Join with me now as I take a look around the Connection and share some of the things happening in the churches of our annual conference. This is Pastor Terry Goodman. I want to welcome you to this edition of the Wesleyan Connection podcast that is designed for the people, the laity, the clergy of mainly the Holston Annual Conference. It's not like I'm talking about broad-ranging subjects that affect all of Methodism, although other Methodists might find it intriguing to hear some of these conversations. Today, I bring you a conversation from an elusive creature. That's right. One that I'd been trying to get an interview with for quite a while and could never catch him in his office at the Alcoa Center. That is Randy Pasqua, who is Director of Camping and Leisure Ministries. I'm not sure they call it Leisure Ministries anymore. That's what I sort of grew up knowing it as. But we know who we're talking about when we talk about Randy Pasqua. And he has served our conference faithfully for a number of years, and he has retired as of this annual conference. But I still wanted to get an opportunity to sit down with him and have him share with me some of the things about the camping ministries that drew him to that particular kind of ministry. To be honest, that's not the kind of ministry that I would want to engage in. I'm not the camping, outdoorsy kind of person. I'd have some of my sons now would probably love that kind of ministry if they ever became a minister. But for me, that's just not my appeal. But the good news is it was an appeal to Randy. It was how God spoke to him and led him through his ministry with thousands of campers over the years. You know, he worked directly with some of them, and probably in the latter years he worked more with the camp directors and the camp staff and so forth. But nevertheless, he made an impact upon the lives of thousands of people. And let's put it this way. Our annual conference also made an impact upon the lives of thousands of children and other people through the years as well, because we sponsor an active camping ministry. From the things that I've heard through the years, other annual conferences are getting out of this business. It's not something that is profitable, not something that's easy to do, and yet Holston continues to thrive, and we continue to make inroads, and we continue to share the gospel of Jesus Christ with these young boys and girls, these teenagers, and we let them know that God's love is available to them, and we do it in a fun setting in which they can enjoy the outdoors, and in which they can hear the stories of Jesus and experience Jesus' love in a personal and profound way. I don't know how many kids have given their lives to Christ through the years, but there have been a number, and our camping ministries are responsible for helping us to do that ministry together through the connection. And so I hope you enjoy this interview with Randy and continue to keep this vital ministry of our annual conference in your prayers. I'm here with Randy Pasqua now, and I'm wanting to just talk with him about the ministry that he's done through the years with camping and leisure ministries, and he is retiring at the annual conference this year, and so he has served us well through the years. Randy, what is it that appealed to you to that specific kind of ministry rather than the pastoral ministry?
Well, that's a good question. I was a pastor for a local church for 5 years, and then when I went to Buffalo Mountain Camp in 1981, I served the camp and a local church. I enjoyed doing both. I had camped as a Boy Scout. My local church sponsored the troop. All the boys in the church were part of that group, and it was a real significant part of our growing up. I worked at a Boy Scout camp and while I was in college, and saw what a difference the camping experience could make in the lives of the campers. And my wife and I were always involved with the youth at our church in the children's program, and we were volunteers at Camp Wesley Woods as I was a pastor, and I just kind of felt drawn to it, saw the importance of it, and it was a place where you could use a lot of different talents and skills in order to keep the operation going. And I guess a few years into my pastorate, I felt the leanings toward that, and then I sought it pretty strongly until I found my place.
So you've been at it quite a few years. What kind of changes over the years have you noticed in the way that you've had to conduct camping ministries?
Well, we've gone through lots of changes. Camping is really a part of the child care industry, and we know what kind of regulations that daycare centers have to have in order to take care of children. And so we've kind of seen camping go from doing it out of your hip pocket to being a real part of child care industry, where you have to make sure that the campers' safety and their well-being is paramount in the things that you do.
What do you see as the future of camping?
I see a real place for camping in the future. Even though we're in the South and there's still a lot of activity in the outdoors, it's becoming more rare. Families have greater concerns about letting their children be away from them, and so the experience of being in camp is unparalleled in children and young people's discovering their own faith and in faith community. And so I think there's a great place for it in the future. We're going to have to continue to make sure parents and church leaders understand that their children are well cared for, they're safe, that they've got a place that is dedicated to loving them and showing them the love of Christ.
You sort of answered the question I was getting ready to ask, but I'll ask it anyway. What do you think that a local church can do to help promote the camping ministries within their bounds, so to speak, or so that they'll get kids involved?
Well, camping is expensive to do correctly, so I think the best thing, if they really want their children in camp, is to help find ways to help fund them. It's not going to get less expensive. Our standards increase every year, so the important thing is to understand the importance of it, and then put your money behind that. And we have the best in Holston Conference. We have the best group of camp directors at this time that I've ever experienced. I'm delighted about where camp ministry is going in Holston, and I think it'll be strong for many, many years. But if church people need to understand the value of it, and then be encouragers, both with the help to fund it, and but encourage folks to participate.
I've saved the most difficult question for last. It's a deep theological question that I hope you will be able to expound upon. Can you tell me, what is your favorite dessert?
Favorite dessert? Ice cream on a stick.
Would that be the same as a brown cow?
I've had a few of those. Yep, that would be close.
Thank you so much for sharing, and I wish you the best in retirement.
Thanks, Terry. I appreciate it.
This is Pastor Goodman. Thanks for listening to this edition of the Wesleyan Connection. Be sure to check back often for more podcasts.